Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show. Ash, Brent.
The land of the smooth transition.
Tried something different, didn't work.
Worked for me.
We're all here. You're all there. Glad to see you're all here this morning because we're here this morning as we are each and every weekday morning.
Stretch. We have nothing to talk about.
Lots to talk about
Stretch
today.
the welcome. I'd like to welcome Marvin Mickish Jr. and Rena Shearer and Ricky Champagne King.
There's your podium this morning.
The Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the great folks at AT Deerland Feed. It's on the cap. Should be on your lawn. You know what I found yesterday? Oh, what, Brent?
What?
I found it's a talk show. It's a give and take. It's a conversation.
I'm trying to address that.
Oh, we're not showing on what? KTMV in
Yeah,
Corpus?
but apparently we are.
Yeah.
Just got confirmation from Lilo. So
Well, welcome Corpus Christi, Texas, to the greatest hour in talk radio. You can look at us on your TV screens and see why we were meant for radio. The AT Deerland Feed sponsored everyday weather. 71 degrees and cloudy in Victoria. I'd rather say 71 degrees and muggy. It's damp,
It's dank.
moist. Heading to a high today of 82. The wind's going to come in and blow out some of this stuff. But for the most part, it's going to be a dank, moist, cloudy day.
Another nice
71
day.
to 82.
Scott Tomko, good morning. Randy Langston, Bobby Leister reminding you it is called on Wednesday, so get to Veracruz today to enjoy a steaming heaping bowl. Heaping's not the right word for soup.
No, but there's always parts like
Yeah.
a corn and potato and meat sticking out, carrots. I did something yesterday. I'm open
morning,
to
Marina.
chastise. Hi, Marina. You can chastise me. I'm welcoming your chastisement. We went about, I don't know, now, I mean, at least 6 weeks ago and bought some chicks. And I've had them in what used to be, pictured, it's kind of kidney shaped, and it's a water pila is what it is, but it's made out of black plastic. And the baby chicks, we put the pine flakes in there, and I've got them their own feeder and their own little water thing, you know. And we've been watching them grow because we've got 6 adults out back that lay eggs every day. Thank you, Lord, for the eggs. And these other 6 we're going to introduce into there. And people have told me, well, what you do is you wait till nighttime and you introduce them in there when they're big enough, and then they'll assimilate and they'll become friends and it'll all be fine. Well, my chicks got to the point where, A, they were really dropping some funk into my garage. And B, they got to where I would come out and they'd be sitting up, roosting on the lip of the tub. So they'd fly up there and sit. It was only a matter of time before that one inquisitive hen dropped down, and then they were running around my garage. And you know what they do when they run around the garage? They poop everywhere. They're just like little, Play-Doh fun factories. So we moved them outside, and then we had to take, and this is great.
I dare you to use that in the Play-Doh barber shop.
Oh, I've still got about this size. And by the way, welcome to the Atzenhofer Studio. South Texas tradition. For over 100 years, Atzenhofer is the home of your next vehicle purchase. But I've got some not Wade and Carter. If I'd have run as Wade and Carter, I'd be in my 3rd term. I've got some Carter for mayor signs in the backyard that Ryland said, you got to ventilate them, So we sent him out there with a knife. So on the sign, there's a picture of our family. He cut a hole where one of Dawn's boobs is. He cut a hole there. He cut his face out. But then he went and put his face on the fence and shot it with a BB gun for about an hour. And
Boys got issues.
he's in counseling now. But the chickens, I thought, man, they're going to get too hot in there. It's a black tub. There's a lid. There's no fan. So yesterday, I told Maggie, it's my Brittany. I said, no. And I let the chicks out in the backyard. And she was just like slobbering. She wanted to go play with them. But she left them alone. They wandered around the yard. Well, almost immediately, they went straight to the
Coop?
to the run for the coop. And the other chicken, the big chickens, they all moved over to the corner like they were, oh no, the little ones are here. Well, one of them found the predictable hole in the fence and got in, and they left it alone. So Dawn and I put the food and their water, because, you know, I've got a feeder that's too tall for them.
Yeah.
We left them in there. I thought, you know what, and I'm not being...
Were they all there this morning?
6 of them were there. They were all still alive. And my take on it was, if the big ones peck them to death, well, then I learned a lesson. And if they don't, then they'll assimilate.
Another lesson.
Yeah. So we're going to see what happens. I welcome any feedback from those of you that raise your own chickens, and I know lots of you do. Hi, Jeff Finley, Lisa Poole, P. Strauss, Scott Tomko. But anyway, I'm curious. I did it somewhat out of convenience for me, and I did it somewhat out of concern that they were going to basically broil inside that.
Well, you didn't still have the heat lamp on, did you?
No, but there's no airflow. You know, even though there's holes in the lid, the sun was shining right on it, and I said, "That's it. I'm just gonna take a
I
chance."
think you'll be all right.
I hope so. What's funny is last night
It is only March 3rd or 4th, so
could get cold again. Well, I can always
could.
go gather them up.
Yeah, you could.
But you know, I think they're going to grow quicker by having more space. I do. I think they will. But you know, the big birds, you know, it got dark. They went up the ramp and they got into their coop. And the little ones, they were all huddled down there at the bottom. But it was you know, not cold. They'll be okay. Flash frozen chicken is it's a good thing to have.
Sous vide them.
Well, enough about
Yeah,
chickens.
hockey half minute. Dallas Stars won 10 in a row now. They beat Calgary 6-1 last
A
night.
sure sign there'll be key injuries down the stretch, and they'll miss the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah, they won't miss them, but they're
How many games are there in a hockey season? 60?
82.
82, just like the NBA.
yeah, 84 next year, I think.
Yeah, well, they've got a 2 up the NBA. Now, how far in the season are we?
What are the Stars? 38, 14, and 9. So
We've already had the All-Star break.
they, what was it? They went to the Olympics.
Instead of an All-Star game?
Yeah.
Okay, there you have it. That was the mid-season break.
Yep. 2 weeks long. Terrible.
There you
Jordan Glass, Andrew Alvarez, Stephanie Connie, Tammy Keeling, Linda Chris, Scott Snow, Greg Garcia.
What's up, Greg? Monty Howard, Andrew Alvarez.
Brent Anderson. Good morning. Zed Stewart, Caden Petru.
Hey, Caden.
Good morning, Caden.
Caden agreed with me last night. Caden was tired and he had track practice and he worked. You know, he's working at the chopping block. If you want to see Caden, he'll sign autographs at the chopping block. But Caden was like, you know, I'm tired. Let's see how those chickens do tonight. Because I'd asked him, should we go catch them and put them back in the hopper?
Well, there you go. Michelle Wilson says predicting a cold front on the weekend of the 13th.
Okay.
So there you go.
If they do, then I'll, you know.
Yep. Jerry Jacobs.
Hey, Jason.
Terry Murray, good morning.
Terry Murray,
Kathleen
hello.
Leininger.
Terry Murray leads me right into the great work Terry Murray did, getting our own House District 30 State Rep, Sheriff A.J. Louderback, wins his primary yesterday against, nobody, as it should be. The Democrats will be trotting out a sacrificial lamb for A.J. to bury in the general election. I don't understand. I still don't understand, and I'm most encouraged that our own Jewel Buchanan, Sheriff Louderback, got 7,044 votes, as opposed to Lois Colkhorst, who only got 7,011. So 33 people voted for, I always wonder how that happens too. 33 people voted for Sheriff Louderback that did not vote for Lois Colkhorst, which is just interesting. And only 6,371 voted for our own Ellie Garza, whereas Constance Philly Johnson got 6,578. You have to wonder, honestly, because those people did not cast a vote for that judge position. And it's a minuscule number of people. Are they people that have a reason, like, I'm not voting for Eli Garza? Or is it people that said, I don't know enough about him. I'm not voting for that position.
Yeah, I don't know. Clint Ives,
a big performance, 1,389 to 868 over our friend Vance Riley. Two good gentlemen.
Yep.
Two great folks. Victoria County, very, very fortunate to have good people running for office. Bill Posey gets 6,619 votes. I mean, how did a couple of hundred people vote for AJ that didn't vote for Bill Posey? I'm always curious, if you are somebody who say you voted for Sheriff Louderback, but you didn't vote for Bill Posey, and you don't mind sharing your logic, I'd love to see it. No criticism. I mean, maybe, but somebody had to say, I'm not voting for that position. I don't know. I am most encouraged that the Democrats did re-elect Jewel Buchanan as the party chair. That's just genius, because what the Democrat Party in Victoria has forgotten is that being party chair is about winning elections. It's not about promoting the national Democrat agenda. The Dems don't need any help with that. There was a time in Victoria where the only way to get elected was to be a Democrat. There was a time in Victoria where you could say, as our friend Emmett Alvarez says, I'm a conservative Democrat. But a conservative Democrat today in Victoria County loses every election to a compassionate Republican. If a Republican just says, I'm for a balanced budget, I mean, you're running for pick something. You're running for justice of the peace. I'm for a closed border. I'm against abortion. I love guns. I hate taxes. But I care for people. And as your justice of the peace, I'm going to do everything I can to implement the law in a fair and equitable way that benefits all people, no matter of their background. That guy wins every time over the Democrat who says, I'm pro-choice, I've got purple hair, a nose ring, a ton of tattoos, I'm going to miss a few days of work because I'm going to go protest at the Patty D, but I am for a balanced budget and I like fiscal responsibility. That guy is a loser every time in Victoria County. So Jewel Buchanan, press on, baby. You're the champion of the losers. There you have it. Not even a rant, really just a statement of fact, observable fact.
Yeah, I don't think a damn will get elected in Victoria County.
Now, here's one question I've got for you.
Yep.
So you've got a toss-up going on right now. You have a guy seeking his fifth term as senator. That would be the awfully pasty, pale, looks so natural John Cornyn, running against Mr. Sleepy Eye, Ken Paxton, two dudes that each have their own issues. If I do it in stereotype, I would say Cornyn is a rhino. He's only conservative for the 6 months before the election. The rest of the time, he stands right in the middle of the aisle and is wishy-washy as Greg Abbott on so many issues. And then you've got Paxton, who greatly aligns with the MAGA movement, if you will, but also brings an impeachment, several indictments, a host of mistresses, and a lot of allegations about criminal activity. I've said it here. Ken Paxton may be a criminal, but dang it, he's been good for Texas. Isn't that what we want in D.C.? Are we electing someone for their papal
Got enough
qualities?
criminals in D.C.
Right, he'll fit right in. But the quandary is, who will Donald Trump back? The idea being, does he go with the proven vote getter, John Cornyn? Tomorrow's News Today, that's who I think he goes with. Because I think he leans on Cornyn and says, I want this, this, and this out of you in exchange for my endorsement. That's the safe route. Or does he pump tens of millions of dollars into this campaign and go for Paxton, who he knows he can count on, who will be giddy to be part of the MAGA machine? Paxton also gives him and the party longevity in that role. They're going to run against James Tallarico, the little fresh-faced, better version of Beto that if you squint just right, comes off as a Christian leader. In reality, he's a false prophet. I think he's a terrible human being. I think James Tallarico is just
What has he done that would make him a terrible human being besides run as a Democrat?
I'll tell you what he's done. He mixes in the party that we all know, certainly at the national level, will never mention Jesus Christ, will never call the country to prayer, will always promote things, the LGBTQ community with special favor, the pro-choice agenda. These are anti-Christian messages, period. He's always going to promote that, but he does it with an inflection in his voice that makes you think of Billy Graham when Jesus appointed me to run for this office. I thought about all the disenfranchised peoples. That's who he is. Now, he pounded Jasmine Crockett, pounded her into oblivion. So praise God that Jasmine is no more.
So what did Jasmine do?
She went out and
complained
complained
that all the voters are racist.
Right, because I told you and I've told her personally, you are pandering to a group of people that cannot elect you. Talking that ghetto ebonics, yo-ho. We done's it before, we're going to done's it again. I got to ask you a question. That won't get you elected in Texas. She didn't get elected by talking like an idiot. She is not an idiot. She has bad handlers.
Trust fund baby.
Private school, law school graduate.
Ivy League school.
Unbelievable. The hypocrisy of her soul.
Oh, no. She comes across as a...
I raised myself from my bootstraps right out the ghetto. It's a lie. It's all a fake thing.
Yeah, no, it was.
Michelle was an artist. Says she dropped the slang accent during her speech. She's right now. And Michelle, she is smart enough. Right now, she is remaking her image. She will come back much more calm. You want to talk about a bad deal. I don't know which is more extreme. That you take a sitting United States representative and now she is out. Or you take a fresh-faced, consistent loser, and the Democrats don't do anything in the House of Representatives, a state rep, and you're going to run that guy for Senate?
They do a lot in our state because we keep appointing them chairs of committees. And
True, that's going to stop. In fact, I think that was one of the resolutions that they were asking Texans to vote on. I did notice that among all the resolutions for both sides, they all passed. And the Democrats' resolutions were just as crazy as the Republicans' resolutions were super conservative. I mean, restrictively conservative was the deal.
Kathleen Leininger says Tallarico reminds her of the way Obama ran his races. Tell them what they want to hear in a modulated tone of voice, then do the exact opposite in office.
I think 100%, Kathleen. I think he is absolutely evil. He's too wimpy to be evil. He's like the Diary of a Wimpy Kid, but he's just this little smarmy, but he is the guy. I mean, I would rather either Cornyn or Paxton would destroy Jasmine Crockett. But Tallarico is a variable. He's a variable. And that's how you know that our local representation had nothing to do with him getting into that spot. Yeah.
I mean, all three of them have some I think Ken Paxton's done a great job as Attorney General.
Yeah. I do too.
I saw John Cornyn. John Cornyn, when I saw him in person, reminded me of those little pink geckos that run around.
Oh,
the
he's
backyard.
translucent. He's translucent. Gecko that is a great line for him. Yeah, Greg Garcia says, I've never seen someone misquote and misrepresent scripture like Tallarico. It's a wolf in he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. 100%. But see, here's the deal, Greg, and where the left kind of has you, is if you call him on his misplaced theocracy, they just say, whoa, separation of church and state, man. What he said, I mean, look at the big picture. It wasn't really biblical. So he can be a false prophet, if you will, and pull it off within the Democrat Party because, number one, we know that as a party, they don't really believe in God as a party. I know individuals who do. We call those independents who just haven't figured it out yet. But as a party, they don't believe in God. As a party, they hate America. And as a party, their policies show that they don't want anything that's ever been looked upon with favor by Donald Trump to pass, ever. So, Randy Langston says, I don't think we need any of them. We did okay governing ourselves. Randy, I want to tell you something. I love you, and you're a great contributor to the show, but you need to seek help. We've decided that you're off the reservation. I like you.
I haven't decided that.
Ash is, political campaigns, they bring out the extremes in people, right? I become more emphatic.
But we didn't govern ourselves. We've had this system of government since the dawn of the
Ash becomes
time.
a little more passive. I don't know. I'm from Canada. I just feel like maybe I should apologize.
Has nothing to do with that.
I'm so sorry. I think it does. I think it is the difference in our backgrounds that makes us palatable together. I've read a lot of
words in my mouth that weren't there. That's the problem I got.
Do you?
We decided you're off the reservation. We didn't decide crap. You decided.
So when you've been reading Randy's comments lately, how many of you read on the air lately? Have you been noticing that Randy's kind of gotten a little extreme?
No,
I'm asking questions
he's
here.
Pissed
I'm
off.
interviewing
He's
you.
pissed off about the Epstein files.
So that has got him, based on our experience, somewhat unhinged,
No, he's riled up.
but not off the reservation.
No.
Okay.
And I agree with him. I think nothing's being done about it. Nothing will get
About
done.
the Epstein files?
No. I mean,
You worried about those Epstein files?
No, no, because nothing's going to happen. The Clintons went and did their little testimony. Nothing happened. Right? Bill Gates is being... Bill Gates might be the worst person on earth with what's being uncovered in the Epstein files, and nothing's happening to him.
Well, because he's a billionaire, and we got to tax him. We can't put him in jail. We've got to tax him. I saw one today, and your friend, Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders said, you got all this. Elon Musk is worth X number of $1 billion. Jeff Bezos is worth X number of $1 billion. Mark Zuckerberg's worth X number of $1 billion. That's right. Oh, so-and-so, who is it that owns CNN and all that? Ellison. Is that his name?
I don't remember. Don't care who owns CNN.
CNN, TikTok, Keith Ellison. Anyway, maybe that's a mayor's guy. Anyway, whoever it is, somebody will put it in there because we have smart listeners. He owns CNN and TikTok. Yes, we live in an oligarchy. And I sit back to Bernie. You've been saying this, and I've seen the videos, since the 70s. Bernie chirping about us living in an oligarchy. Did you know that in the 70s, Facebook didn't exist, the internet didn't exist, Amazon didn't exist, Bezos was living in his garage. Elon Musk was a child in South Africa who immigrated here legally, and the Ellison guy, CNN didn't exist in the 70s. All of these things are the result of capitalism, free trade, free enterprise. Yet Bernie says we live in an oligarchy. Bernie Sanders is a walking contradiction.
But watch what Bernie does. Bernie just introduced a bill, I guess, or legislation, or trying to, that would tax the 1,000 richest people in this country on their net
You know
worth.
why? Because nobody cares about 1,000 people. That's fine. Yeah, they ought to pay more, man. My Happy Meal's $5.
On their net worth. That's what's, and because that's what the Democrat Party will push come 2028.
Communist.
Bernie is like the crystal ball of where the Democrat Party is going. And it talks about everything, like I think collectibles. I mean, he's coming after everything, folks.
He's a terrible human being.
Amanda King says nothing's going to happen to the people in the files. Others are upset that a few key people weren't in them, so they won't push for consequences because the wrong people are named. It's an interesting tack.
Yeah, and thank you. Cody Bauman says that the primary owner of CNN is Warner Brothers, and the primary boss at Warner Brothers is a guy named Larry Ellison. So that's who I was looking for. Yeah, Keith Ellison, Ellison's his name. Stay away from me, fact checkers. You bother me. What do you got?
Nothing.
I'm just telling you. Did you see any surprises? I'll tell you, as our friend Allison Fox has made a runoff in the Court of Criminal Appeals, and our friend, I think the guy that I liked a lot, Aaron Wright, finished fourth in the race for Attorney General, which I hate. I do hate that. I think he was really the best person for the job, both as a gentleman and qualification-wise.
Dan Crenshaw lost his race.
Yeah, to Steve Toth. Don't know him.
I think he's a state rep.
Keith Self wins for U.S. Rep. District 3, District 4, Gooden, District 5. I don't know any of those people.
No, the interesting one, let me get to the statewide offices, because these are the ones that are interesting. Obviously, Abbott, 81%, almost 82%
So
of
who was
Republican
second?
voters.
Doc Chambers got some votes.
I think he was second on the list. Dan Patrick running away with Attorney General on the Republican side. He will be the nominee.
Lieutenant Governor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Lieutenant Governor.
Yeah.
Attorney General will be a runoff between Mays Middleton and Chip Roy.
Yeah, and
I think Chip could pull this one out.
And I'll tell you something. I don't know, and that may be a great place for Chip. Chip ran afoul of the administration. I don't know all the details, and I don't know if he was right or wrong. I don't know. I mean, we clearly here point out when we disagree with President Trump, and Roy did so, and he had a big platform. He was kind of like Marjorie Taylor Greene. He had a big platform, and he used it to the detriment of Trump's agenda. So Trump started kind of blackballing him. That doesn't mean he won't be a great attorney general for the state of Texas. The problem I have with Mays Middleton is that Mays Middleton has never darkened a courtroom door unless he was getting sued over one of his oil businesses. And he ran as MAGA Mays Middleton, and he ran as if he had President Trump's endorsement, which he did not. That allowing you, I mean, I think a lot of people that voted for Middleton voted for him. They clearly did not vote for him because of his courtroom record, which Aaron Wright clearly has. They voted for Middleton because of the catchy name phrase, which, by the way, is probably exactly why I will vote for Chip Roy. Christy Craddock, Kelly Hancock, these names that are always around. Don Huffines dominates, 57% of the vote, wins outright.
He'll be the Republican nominee for comptroller.
He wins outright.
I think the shock for a lot of folks.
Yeah.
Nate Sheets defeats incumbent Sid Miller on the Republican side. I think the fact that Sid decided to hire one of his former employees back to office at $200,000 a year after he pled guilty to bribery charges Yeah, probably did sit in. Sid might have been a little bit too much hubris there.
Very interesting
Thinking
thing,
he wasn't
though.
touchable.
So Nate Sheets announced that he's running, and while he's doing his thing, Nate hires the public relations firm, the folks that helped Dawn Buckingham in her election. Almost immediately, Nate Sheets gets the endorsement of Dawn Buckingham and then gets the endorsement of President Trump. It's an incestuous little political model. I'm not saying that Nate Sheets isn't the best guy for the job. In fact, I defer to Donald Trump. If Trump wants Sheets, that's great. But here's the deal. Trump didn't want Sid. That's because of Trump's allegiance with Greg Abbott. I mean, it's all politics. All of you right now are saying, well, that's politics. But you got to dig through the onion to figure out what's going on. Greg Abbott, sideways with Sid Miller. You heard Sid talk about it right here just the other day on Monday. We asked him the tough question. Hey, you got sideways with the governor. Tell us what happened there. And he stopped for a second. And then he said, well, okay, I will tell you. And I've been sideways with him on 3 issues. And when it was all said and done, he told you exactly why the governor doesn't like him. He says, I'm going to continue to fight the governor. So, now Kathleen Leininger disagrees, and I always respect her opinion. She's certainly politically savvy. She says, Roy is a grandstander. I hope Middleton can pull it out. But here's the difference, Kathleen. Ken Paxton is a grandstander. You need that hubris. You need that bravado if you're going to go attack and sue administrations the way that Ken Paxton did so successfully. I'm not certain that, MAGA Mays is really that guy. Like I said, he had a bunch of money. He owns an oil company. He went to the University of Texas Law School and never practiced law. That's like going to Duke to study to be a surgeon and just going back and running your oil company. The people that go to Texas, the story was always this. The people that go to Baylor pass the bar, and they're great lawyers. The people that go to Texas make the laws. Historically, it's very true. This guy, in my opinion, has just sat on a UT law degree. That's his prerogative. He's rich, but does not in any way qualify him to be Attorney General.
Well, apparently it does.
Well, I'm sorry, do we ever disagree that the voting populace is most of the time quite ignorant?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Like I said, the only...
Being elected doesn't make you qualified.
No, uneducated voters are the most dangerous.
I mean, do you agree with that? Getting elected doesn't make you qualified.
Tammy says the first thing to check is who's taking PAC money. Will they take on campaign? They'll never take on campaign finance reform. None of them. They don't even run on it anymore.
Not to mention...
But they're all taking PAC money because the money has gotten so stupid in elections. If you don't, you'll never win. Jasmine Crockett got AI PAC money. The same PAC that the Democrats say are running the Republican Party because that's the American Israel PAC. But she got money from them too.
Here's the deal, though, and Tammy's savvy enough to understand this. When the right people or the wrong people show up at your office, most of these guys, most of these elected folks, they've got what I call a respect threshold. Respect/fear threshold. And here's the deal. If a guy shows up at your office, Timmy Dunn shows up at your office, says, I want to talk to you about my agenda. Well, I'm not subject to your agenda. I answer only to my constituency. Yes, but will you take a meeting? Well, if I take a meeting, it's going to imply that I support you. And yes, I'll take a meeting, but I'm not seeking any type of donation from you or your organization, Mr. Dunn. Timmy Dunn comes in and sits down in your office and espouses all the things that he wants, and they're extremely right-wing, and some of them you agree with, and most of them you don't. And then he says, I'm going to write you a check. How big a check do you want me to write? Which, by the way, is a direct question of how much of my agenda are you going to promote? See, you can have a respect threshold. Well, you can give me $2,500, and you know my door is always open, just like it is to any other constituent. $2,500, you took PAC money, but Timmy Dunn doesn't own you. Here's the other side of that. You can run on principle, and you can go, I will not be influenced by anything other than my constituency. And you can guarantee that in your next election, Timmy Dunn's going to find somebody that he can pump a bunch of money. Greg Abbott's going to find somebody he can pump a bunch of money in to try to beat you. So sometimes
it works and sometimes it doesn't, as we found out last legislative session.
Sometimes you sacrifice a calf to keep the herd. And unfortunately, that's just politics. There have been people who went to, especially Washington, D.C., full of principle. We call them one-and-done, one-term politicians, because the political machine, unless you happen to be big, unless you happen to come in on the heels of something big, you can bet that the vast majority of them take PAC money.
Randy Langston says the only reason it seems to run for anything is to make bank nowadays. You're not supposed to get rich in politics. No, and Donald Trump is trying to get legislation passed that will not allow it to happen, but I just don't see how that's going to work in reality. Practicality, I just don't see it. We probably should take a break. We're more than halfway through the show and haven't even stopped to take a breather. Talked about Veracruz. Today is called a Wednesday. Get in today. The only day of the week you can enjoy a steaming hot bowl of caldo. Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. Give Allen a call for all your towing needs, wrecker needs. Gentleman asked me if I had jumper cables the other day. I did not have any with me, but Allen's could have come and done it. And I told him give Allen's a call.
Yeah, 578-6300. We talked about Veracruz already. Get in today for Caldo Wednesday.
Bacon
USA.
Wrap Terrace Majors at the Chopping Block. Go get them. Great prices, great meat.
Fantastic. USA Concrete Coatings. Sand it, seal it, stain it, paint it. Anything. Cracks, sealed, garage floors, recoated, pool decks. Call USA Concrete Coatings. Let them help you. Went Services, Went Electrical for all your general electrical needs, new buildings, remodels, homes, shops, barns, boat docks. Generac preferred dealer for all of your generator needs.
White Trash Services. Lock your service in with White Trash for a year, 2 years, 3 years. They'll donate $25, $50, or $100 to the local volunteer fire department of your choice. And so far, they've given over $21,000 to volunteer fire departments within their service region. Anywhere you hear our voices, that is the service region of White Trash Services. So if you're on the No Bull Network in Calhoun, Karnes City, Atascosa County, or any of the other 9 stations
DeWitt,
of the No
Goliad,
Bull.
Gonzales, Frio, B, Jim Hogg, all those counties, they're all part of the No Bull Network, and that means White Trash is the preferred trash collection company in your area. Cheswick Furniture. Cheswick and Love make your house a home. Get in this week and see new Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy, Posturepedic, all types
of accoutrement.
Bedding, depending on how you want. Yeah, all the accoutrement. See Bobby Leon and tell him Wade and Carter sent you. There you go.
I disagree. But
yeah,
whatever.
I disagree too. It's not.
People ran on that.
It's our show.
Yeah. Let's see what else is happening in the world. Propositions. Do we want to quickly run through those? Because I thought that.
No, they were boring to be honest, and they were all just. Did
they all pass?
Yeah.
Quickly go through and see if any of them were even close.
No. And then if we find out which one's close, we got to figure out what it was.
I got that list hanging around.
They all got the same. Some people voted against all of them. You can tell Proposition 9 is about the closest one, and it was 80-20.
And Proposition 9 was
The
the Republican-controlled Texas legislature should stop awarding leadership positions, including committee and subcommittee chairmanships and vice chairmanships, to Democrats.
There you go. That's the 20% of Republicans who say, hey, look, maybe some of them are salvageable. Let's just still try to reach across the aisle. And here's the deal. I was looking at it, and I was going, well, if we do that, well, then when the Democrats are in charge, they're not going to. And I went, oh, wait. When they are in charge, they don't do it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why is it the Republicans that are always trying to reach over the aisle when historically in Texas, the legislature is a Democrat-run legislature? We're in the anomaly period. We're in the blip period. I do think that you're seeing a strengthening that's going to keep that from ever going blue again, but ever is such a long time. It's, yeah.
Let's see. What
Randy, I'm just filling time. You're way big a show favorite, and you always have good takes. You worried about measles?
No, I'm not. But
isn't that a throwback to, you anti-vaxxers? Which, by the way, if you're an anti-vaxxer, you're an idiot. Too many vaccines that have been totally proven to be safe for your kids. They've been observed through generations. I'm really thankful I had the polio vaccine. You know why? Number one, it didn't really hurt. Number two, it works. It works. There's no reason to have a COVID vaccine because you know what? Its efficacy is immeasurable. It doesn't work. Why would you go get something that doesn't work? I don't know. Do you remember, people seem to just forget that the Democrats just no time ago, we're going to go to HEB based on our alphabet. The stupidity of such. Everybody's wearing a mask. Doesn't work. They've even gotten Fauci on. Well, I said where to. They don't work. No. He wanted you to feel better. The Democrats wanted you to feel better during COVID. It's just like the flu.
Greg Abbott shut everything down too. Don't forget.
I agree.
It wasn't just
where
the
I
Democrats.
say he blows with the wind. He blows with. We'll better err on the side of. He falls into that. Well, we've got to do something, camp.
Yeah, he quickly turned it around. Texas was shut down for 6 weeks maybe.
Yeah,
but
he won't ever do it again.
No,
he'll never shut it down again.
Whatever happened to that loan program that we had here in Victoria? Remember?
They gave one loan after all the muckety mucks, all the Victoria big money snobs that felt like, well, we've got to do something. The little man is dying here.
Where'd all the money go that we gave to that company to run that program? Do we get it back? I don't know.
No, I think there was one loan made and it was repaid. Andy Rokovich says, Brent, we only had 3 vaccines as a child. Today, kids get 23. Why do we need 23? I don't know. I don't. I think they should all probably be reviewed. I'll tell you why I think we need 23. We need them because when I was a kid, all the food wasn't processed and everything wasn't all screwed up like it is now. So as a result, we probably get sick from our food sources, to be honest.
Man, 2-parent homes.
Well, it's true. The audacity.
Yeah.
You Bible
Somebody was home cooking. Well,
right?
Somebody was home working.
Yeah.
Or somebody was off working and the kids were at school.
Scott Tomko says, I really think that chicken poop in Brent's garage has him agitated. No, I look back, politics was never like a thing for me. I never really cared. And then I was dumb. I was dumb and I ran for an office. And I realized just how the whole thing is it's just a rigged show of lunatics. Look. I love Dwayne Crocker. He's a friend of mine. His office is right there. If you get Dwayne Crocker away from here, which, by the way, he has found the balance, okay? So, great example. These are great examples. Paul Pulasic and Charmel Garrett, they did nothing in the city of Victoria. For those of you listening outside, this will be 2 minutes. They did nothing. Everything that came up. We need to build this onto a public restroom. Oh, there's no money for that. Okay, that's it. No money for that. Well, then along comes Raleigh McCoy. And Raleigh, bless his heart, was a friend of mine, a good friend of mine. We're going to beef up the south side. I can see it now. There's going to be a new grocery store down there by Mumford's. He knew he wasn't telling the truth when he said it. Nobody's going to renovate the south side. Don't be stupid. Towns in Texas grow away from the wind. They grow north and west. Don't be stupid. Floodplain, all the challenges down there. At the same
socioeconomic issues that don't make businesses viable.
VISD is talking about closing the school down there. We're going to renovate that area. Well, then someday we'll have to build a new school, maybe on blocks. Just stupidity. But Raleigh McCoy literally worked himself to death. Literally. So then along comes Jeff Balknight. Smiling Jeff. Well, Jeff was a hell of a city council member, always prepared, super knowledgeable, very conservative, but willing to listen. Jeff Balknight is maybe the best city council member that I've ever known. As a mayor, Jeff Balknight was Paul Pulasic 2.0. Raleigh was his mentor. He voted for Raleigh over me. Apologized to me for doing it. Hey, I'm sorry. I've known Raleigh a long time. I'm going to vote for Raleigh. I said, I respect you telling me that. That's fine. If Raleigh would have been in the race when I entered, I might not have entered. But nobody was in the race when I said, this town is loony and I can fix it. So I jumped in and I got beat. But at the end of the day, Crocker was handed the mayoral. I helped talk him into getting on city council. And I helped talk him into running for mayor. And he was handed the mayoral office. And in all fairness, and Dwayne, I know somebody from your office is listening, he hasn't done anything. I'm not upset with Dwayne Crocker. He's great. He comes to the ribbon cuttings and he goes deer hunting. He understands that we have a no-power mayor. We have a city manager form of government. But if you think that Dwayne Crocker, who is a fine attorney and does work for some of our governmental entities, if you think Dwayne Crocker's in Houston trying to talk big businesses into moving to Victoria, you are way overselling what Dwayne Crocker does as mayor. And I don't fault him for it. I'm just saying he's going to win mayor. Why? Why? What has Dwayne Crocker done as mayor?
Hasn't screwed it up.
That's all he's done is stay out of Jesus Garza's way. Some would say he hasn't done a good enough job of reining Jesus in. Some would add
that's all of city council's job if that's the case.
There you go. So what I'm telling you is, do we have, in your opinion, are we at a comfortable place of numb, or do we have a well-run machine at City Hall? I'm just asking your opinion. Somewhere in between. I'm from Canada.
No,
sorry.
Call
it what it is.
I think we're starting to spend too much money for a tax base that isn't growing to keep up with that spending.
I agree with that. We've spent lots of money. I'm going to find out the number, but here's the deal. He's very forthcoming. He's a fine gentleman. I'll get Jesus Garza on the show, and I'll ask him. I've been told that the number to finish that Justice Center was upwards of $70 million. Now, I'm not saying that's not a good investment. If that building lasts us the same 60 years that the old one downtown lasted, I'm not saying it's not a good value. It's got facilities to help us. It's kind of like when Texas redoes their locker rooms to help with recruiting. It's what the city did. They built nice facilities. You don't have 163 officers crammed into a place, you know. So there you have it.
Micah Patton says a brand new Hopkins Elementary is on that bond proposal, but it's not. We're not building we're replacing a Hopkins.
I haven't mentioned
but it's not
VISD today.
Well, no, but you said we're not building schools down there. But
we're not building schools.
But there's
down
no
there.
growth down there.
No, they're not building a school down there.
Jonathan Williams asked, what are they going to do with the old one? That's a good question.
I don't know. I think, and I'll tell you something else that goes on in this town way too much. Governmental entities in this town sell property and buildings and things to each other. And it's annoying to me. So if the county buys, by the way, so a good example, but I don't have any numbers for you. The county bought 311 over here, Constitution, which was the dump that belonged to the Victoria Advocate. So they bought it. The Advocate, which has no money, was supposed to have this building cleaned up and ready to go. Thank you, Rena Shear, longtime elected official, says, Brent, you are right on. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. The city was supposed to have this building cleaned up, or the county was going to buy it cleaned up by the Advocate. It was not. It was not.
Ink was left over, acetone or something was left over.
Lots of stuff that nobody really wanted to know what was in it, right? Went into a dumpster and was hauled out of here. Lots of stuff. So first of all, shame on the Advocate for not delivering on their part of the deal. Secondly, the county bought it. So the county all of a sudden is now in the real estate business. So they put somebody in there like this TEMA, Texas Emergency Management and all that. But now there's like talk that Gulf Bend Services or somebody wants to rent it. And the next thing you know, you've got, like at the library, the county owns the building and the city wants to buy it. And the city talks about, it'll be a good deal if we can buy it for X number of dollars. The building was built with your tax dollars. It's maintained with your tax dollars. And now the city wants to use your tax dollars to buy it from the county.
Which is funded by your tax dollars.
Which is all funded by your tax dollars. And they're all like, harumph, harumph, harumph. I bought the library. No, you didn't. I bought the library. And this will be my third time to buy it. Why isn't anybody else pissed about this? And Micah, of course I understand that if you tear down the existing Hopkins and build a new Hopkins, that's good for the children, which, by the way, is a totally separate issue from what I'm talking about. And building a new Hopkins down there in the floodplain does nothing to rejuvenate that neighborhood. Nobody with any money is going to go down there and go, well, now that we have a new Hopkins, let's renovate these old dilapidated rent houses. And anybody that tells you, any politician that goes, the South Side is my top priority, is lying to you.
Well, because the problem is, as soon as you renovate it, the people living there can no longer afford it, so you move them out somewhere. And where do they go?
Kerry Bump says, how do you know all this information? I know
you pay attention.
Everybody who makes the decisions. And they also trust me because I don't throw them under the bus. If I need to know what's going on, I can usually do it with 3 phone calls. Because I'm honest and I don't rat people out. That's the way it works.
But it's pretty obvious the city's library is in a building owned by the county.
Well, and you want to talk about
secret.
Something else we'll ask Jesus about. So the city leases the library from the county, and it's a real convoluted mess. It goes back to the county is provided fire and EMS service from the city, and they pay a dollar amount for that. It's like 14% of something. It comes out to over $2 million. But everybody agreed, including at the time, I guess, Judge. Could have been Posey. It might have been before him. I think it was before
Walker,
Posey.
maybe?
Walker. Yeah. They all agreed, well, that's not enough. So I tell you what, it literally happened like this. I tell you what, we'll take animal services, and we know that's going to cost us $1 million a year. I tell you what, we'll lease you that library on paper. So all this is drawn up. So now it adds like $4 million in change. So everybody goes, okay, that's a good deal. Well, I'm out of the animal services business. Nobody's happy there. And now we got the library. Well, in the very lease of the library, it says the expenses of maintaining that library belongs solely to the city of Victoria. Any expense over $100,000 can be presented to. You may approach the county
for help.
That's fair. So it comes up that the roof is leaking.
And the county can say, we're not going to help you with that.
Yeah, that's right. So Jesus and his regime want to buy the library. They offer Masiminos $1 million for an entire city block and 40,000 square feet of air-conditioned space. It's a joke of an offer. Everybody knows it. It's more like a $3 or $4 million building. So what happens? The county laughs. Ha! And the city says, well, you know what? The roof leaks, and you guys need to fix it. You're my landlord. And the county says, look at the lease. That's your problem. So they can either, and this is pretty close, they can either repair the existing roof for like $750,000, or they can do it right, rip off the entire roof and put on an entirely new roof for less than twice that. To make a point, the city has decided to simply repair the leaks. Well, fine. If you're not going to sell us the building for what we want, then all we're going to do is fix the roof that we have now and allow it to continue to deteriorate.
And then have to pay for the leaks
there you
down
go.
the road.
So as a taxpayer,
going to spend just as much money fixing the roof as it would have been
there
to repair
go.
the roof.
Every
just
other
to
year,
make a point.
Just to make a point. So they'll spend $800,000 a year every 2 or 3 years instead of spending $1.2 million and being done with it. They really don't care because you fools pay for it and never ask a question.
Because it's our money.
That's right. Unbelievable. And I'm not saying that any of this is corruption. And I am saying that I believe all of these are fairly well-meaning people. I'll also add that there's a handful of people in this community who could solve all the problems. You talk about taxing everybody. What if a handful of people who could solve all the problems just stepped up and really invested in their community? They could do it easily. But instead, they sign letters. Oh, you peons, just borrow this money, and if you don't pay it back, wink, wink. And like one person got a loan because that wasn't the problem.
No.
Nobody gets it. So I'll tell you this. I'm too outspoken to ever be elected. If I ran today, I would do better because I wouldn't sit back. I would call out the hypocrisy. I ran as a nice guy and got labeled a racist. It's like, if you want to party with me, bring it. Because I know what I believe and why I believe it.
Randy Lane says all politicians should be paid like minimum wage starting in place. Unfortunately, well,
our city council and mayor don't make anything.
No, and our state reps make what?
$7,200 a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not.
They are. Many states don't. Many cities don't. Many cities pay their mayors 6 figures.
I tell you what needs to happen, and I am the guy to facilitate this. The city manager, a representative, whether it's Dwayne or a representative from Dr. Young, a representative from the council, Judge Zeller, and another commissioner, Micah Patton from VISD. Who else? Lenny from the airport. So you got the city, the county, the airport, the school district
in there.
And bring in Byron Burris. We need to all get in a room and allow me to facilitate a conversation where we just cut through this crap. Did you know, and there'll be more on this coming in the future, we're about to run out of time today. You need to go and look into Victoria's free bus service. Did you know it only runs 8 to 5? If you need to be at work at 8, you can't take that free transit. If you get off at 5, they're not there to give you a ride home. You know what they do? They give homeless people and people who can't have no other way to get to HEB, they give them rides. Do you know that it's an 80-20 program?
Take a look at the bus shelters when you drive by them.
Waste
they
of money.
become homeless encampments. There was a tent at the one in
Waste.
front of the HEB on Rio Grande yesterday when I drove by.
What you need to do is buy half a dozen Suburbans, use them to promote our city, offer free rides to avoid DWIs, and you need to have those it's just like free Victoria Uber.
We'd probably be cheaper giving people Uber vouchers or paying for
No
Uber
doubt.
rides than we
Zero
are
doubt.
on.
The budget I saw said that if you take the number of riders and divide it by the cost of the staff, the maintenance, the insurance, the vehicles themselves, the wear and tear, it's $85 per ride. $85 a ride. I'll leave you with that. Let's talk about that tomorrow. Y'all have a great day. We love you. You can make Victoria great, but don't pat yourselves on the back that it is. Not at this point. Have a great day, folks.
Bye, folks.
Bye.